go 10. Let's start off with just a nice clear to understand how the chapter works and how the abilities work for
Okay,
people.
I'll just dial it like completely to the basics then, just so people can see it.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about some of the rounds, some of the characters as we go through. So it's a nice little introduction for those who have not yet gotten to 10, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I'll let you like showcast me then, and you can tell me what to
Oh.
do.
All right. So Calton is live on his main account. Everybody in the chat can just click on it on the Discord and click spectate, and then you will be able to see the screen. Hopefully, yep. Okay, the stream is perfect. It's super smooth. And that's a lucky round
Oh,
one. Nice
somehow.
clear up.
Well, no, I used the book. I'm using Hero 10, Giant 15, so it
Ah,
guarantees the T3 round one. It's for
perfect.
consistency's sake.
I mean,
Log is very nice. Log is very nice to be honest.
I was just about to say that log addition. It's like a. It hasn't been spoken of much. I've not seen much talk on it on the forums and stuff. But it's such a nice looking relic. Animations are fantastic too. It's beautiful.
Oh wait, you know what I should be doing? I should be hovering over the end so we can. So we'll go over like this is the first guy that you'll end up seeing of the slave.
Yeah. All right. So we got the slave here. So it says knockbacks 5x5 range, and it gains shield equal to the damage dealt. So it's basically it's a knock forward rather than knock back. I feel because it knockbacks for the opposite side, if you know what I mean, right? And then yeah, it gets shield based on the amount of damage it does, and I think the stats will scale like every hero does. As we get higher in the difficulty of the chapter. And
Yeah, yeah.
let's have a look at the other one, which is the annoying little person.
Yes, sir. The Tank Buster.
Yeah, Void Destroyer, also known as Tank Buster, basically Kamehameha beam on your first target, and it just constantly drains. I mean, if you look at the stats, let's actually go over. The initial damage is 60 plus 50, and increased by 35% of base damage each attack. So I mean, it says each attack here. I think it means each attack is every second or every 2 seconds. I don't know the time interval for each attack what it actually means, but 35% every time increase is going to be a substantial increase. So even if you have tanks which are like, let's say 3000 HP, it's going to shred through them.
Exactly. Yeah. Then hopefully I'll be able to summon a Lily soon, and we can see why she's so overpowered. But yeah, I'll just get. I have a little bit of an overpowered kid. Actually, that's a good note, Gluin. That's a good note. Ah, yes, the good old Eon clears. All right, we got our first doing it.
All right, perfect. It's back up. You guys can click spectate again, and you're back in there. All right, nice. We have everybody. Yeah, nice and smooth stream going on.
There we go. That's what I want.
All right, there we go. Now we see Lily. Okay, so let's say you see new, I guess mob, the big sword guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Executor.
Okay, so I mean this is again an interesting mechanic. So it charges towards the enemy with the lowest HP, stunning them within a 3x3 range. So I guess a counterplay to this is keep your lowest HP unit further away from your team. Don't group them, so you don't get an AOE stun. And from my experience of playing Chapter 10 a little bit, is that even though sometimes your tank might be, let's say, only a T2 or T3, and your main carries a higher tier because of, let's say, hero buff and stuff, uh, it will focus, of course, the lowest HP. So I guess you could counterplay towards that and bait it out, like by having a basic tier 1 unit further away from the team and bait out that stun.
All right. So before you say anything else, I will say there's another reason why Lily could be considered one of the best tanks for this chapter. And if anyone's kind of picked up on what I mean by that, like look at Lily's base health versus like my main carries, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna dash towards the Lily pretty much. That's the sick part about it.
No, exactly. That makes Lily even more better because her base damage is already
Exactly.
so low. That's really interesting. Nice.
I'm just gonna start up.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, the 0-0 challenge might not be the hardest thing in the world. All right, there we go. This is a good. Should probably expand. Up. Throw the. I actually I'll put two. I want to really showcase what Lily can do in this round specifically. You'll see that she gets actually. You'll see that she gets chained too. And then basically, if they're actually able to kill her in time, yeah, we'll see it. We'll see it more if I do when I do like the higher challenge. Actually, just gonna sell the lunar. I want to get my Eon up. I just want to get like a nice high tier. I'll just push to round 10 so we can get the next enemy type.
Yep. Also, the log is really good here because it interrupts casting. Does it?
Yep, yeah. It basically just knocks every single one of them out. So it's a very nice tech for this chapter specifically.
Anything that can interrupt those guys is fantastic. It could be a stun. It could be the log, pushback plus stun.
And as you can see, just Eon going to work on this. Lily with new charge stuns. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the newer of the two. I'll actually just take the troop expansion here. Okay. New enemy. My personal least favorite of the chapter.
And this is the first time we have seen this mechanic in the game, right? Burn mana, except for of course Bardrey's. What do you call this thing?
Bardrey's doesn't burn mana; it just increases the amount they need to cast, which is like significantly like worse. I guess the most comparable item would be the Holy Bomb from the arena.
Yeah, oh, actually, yeah, Holy Bomb has been forgotten. It's like in the grave. But yeah, this is the first time we've seen it on I think a character or let's say a enemy, which is fantastic. Burns all mana of a random enemy, dealing XYZ damage, removing MP skill buffs and stacks owned. What does this mean? MP skill buffs and stacks owned. What stack?
MP, just literally just taking away all of your mana for skill buffs. It's basically, say for example you're in empowered like Mel mode, right? Takes it off. You're no longer in your ultimate. Same thing with Zuoyun. Same thing with Bombi. Same thing with every single character. It just basically it's random and it just takes away everything you can do. It's extremely powerful.
Glenn, I don't think like Changa stacks, but like any effect stacks, like an effect stack of a character. Like Mel is the best example, right? Maybe.
Yeah, Mel's a pretty.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be shuffling my hand around. You can keep talking.
So, like for example, the mana burn, right? I've seen this like when we were playing with Bombi as well. If your Bombi is going to cast again and it gets targeted with the mana burn, now your Bombi has forced to walk up to hit, and it's been at times that he walks up, is about to get full mana to recast, but gets mana burned. Again, about to get full mana, gets mana burned, and then he's just stuck in this infinite loop of never being able to get his skills off. So it's a really annoying, mob, but it's very well designed. I would say that. All right, let's get.
All right. Yeah, you'll kind of see her like kind of throw her ability. I mean, at this point, it's gonna be pretty suppressive, just because I have a pretty easy clear into the boss.
So as you saw over there, also, as you know, like red damage is attack damage, blue is of course MP, and her skill does a purple damage. That's a new color we've seen. So that purple is basically mana burn, I guess, that they're going for. Alright, now the unit's going to be really strong now. I think it's one-shotting everything now. And interestingly also, like on round, let's say 11, all these 4 mobs have 4 unique skills. There's a stun, there's a drain beam, there's a mana burn, and there's a knockback. So there's so much CC in this chapter. Of course, since we're playing the base level, we're killing things really fast. But just imagining this on a much higher difficulty, it's going to be something different.
Me that skin. Yep, it uses a nice little pistol.
Yeah,
I do want to set something up though.
The theme behind it is like a pirate theme, right? The Eon. So she has like this parrot on her back, being the pirate lore, I guess.
You have petrify in the game. I guess it's just kind of stun, but no, we don't have like a complete petrify. I'd say. Besides the frozen shackle, I'd say would be the closest thing to what you're describing.
Oh, nice!
Of course, the visual glitch.
Yeah, this is a nice little visual glitch. It doesn't do anything, by the way. It just looks really cool.
I call that the pillar of pain.
You sidestepping it all. This does actually, yeah. So I mean, ideally, your Lily doesn't actually have to be like a high tier, by the way. Wait, what the heck? Okay, that's my bad with. I'll just move everything. I'll just move her in. I do want something for the next round, just to kind of help out some people that might be struggling with the round 15.
Yeah, for sure.
And how she works. Right, there she is, the queen herself.
Ooh, the Void Priest. Beautiful. So emits a shockwave 3 times that deals 30 plus 250 scaling damage and pushes the enemy target back 3 blocks, starting with the furthest enemy. So how the skill targets basically is she attacks or like targets the furthest enemy on your board, and emits a shockwave that hits in, let's say, horizontal directions, and pushes everything 3 blocks back. So like this chapter already has a push forward, there's a push back as well added on top of it. I guess we'll see it in action and then get a really clear idea of how it actually works.
I do want. There you go. Perfect. Oh wait. Okay, that actually helps.
That's actually brilliant.
I was gonna say, yeah. So the Lunaire is actually a very strong unit to have for this specific. And you'll see. I want people just to mainly focus on like this area. You'll see like the pushback comes right there. So Lunaire will stay at the back, and the shockwave will only hit the Lunaire. So that's a very nice way of countering. Although as you go up in like, the challenge difficulty, the damage will increase like tremendously, so the Lunaire won't be able to survive for the whole time. It's nice to bait out that damage with Lunaire specifically. I'm not gonna take the sword, even though it would be nice to have. Oh, look at that double metal.
Wow.
We're gonna get lucky. Obviously, we got lucky. Look at that. Lily's never gonna die now. I will take the armor just for fun.
Reflect.
Same idea. She's gonna get pushed back, but yeah, you'll see that the waves end up on the bottom. Whereas, like, yeah, she's kind of useless. But again, this is the zero challenge. It's not supposed to be too hard. We'll actually just do some quick selling. Yeah, I'll let Mole take over for a sec.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess like a lot of chapters, even this one has a lot of baiting stress, like how Calvin explained. Baiting out that skill from the Priestess on Lunaire is fantastic. Not having her would be basically your furthest unit would be up front in front of everybody else, and then you're just in this infinite loop of getting knocked back non-stop, which can be painful on higher chapters. But yeah, over here, so we have Log helping out, bait out the duration of when the enemy start casting. So by that time, Yeon can start doing her magic, and this visual bug is just brilliant.
It looks cool. It definitely looks pretty nice.
They should have it with all of the characters. Okay, so yeah, by round 19, you're basically having every single enemy on the field. Like you have the Priestess, you have the Mana Drain, you've got.
Oh, I should have stopped there. My bad. I should have stopped.
Yeah, and so we saw basically all enemies over there. So like round 19 is also a pretty heavy test of how you've built your team. And okay, yeah, now round 20. I think let's talk about the boss a bit and see how it actually works and how we can counter it. Oh, beautiful! Look at that T7 Yeon. I think you're going to destroy this boss before it even transforms.
I want to ask. So what do people think I should do with my current board? Like, what's the plan here? Play.
All right, yeah, that's actually a nice thing. Let's have some suggestions, some ideas, and let's see how knowledge transfers. You can type in the podcast questions chat. Everybody has the chat.
Any positioning I should do? Any specific things I should worry about? I should hover over the boss actually, so I know what it does.
While people talk, I will go over the first ability. So Perpetual Void is basically the. I mean, how do you even say his name? Arbiter Sargula. Sargula sounds like a fucking Italian topping. This is like bruschetta with Sargula. Click the flag on the top. That's the best threat out there. So,
Yeon. Now that I like. That is I think that's my favorite idea so far. Oh my Yeon. I think Yeon's pretty weak.
Sell Yeon, have 10 tier 1 lilies. Perfect strat.
This is like a very simple support. Full like 5 support build. That's why there's no Shelda.
Alright, so the Perpetual Void, the first skill of the boss, absorb 50% of MP that all enemies store. Becomes awakened when a certain amount of MP is absorbed. So basically his MP bar gets full every time he attacks. So the units, you will see him now almost like teleport around and let's say eat or absorb MP. And the minute it gets full, it transforms into let's say phase 2 of the boss. And
yes, phase 2.
But so maybe we won't be able to get the name, time to read the name, but let's just go over it. Basically, it's going to transform at whatever HP that you have left it on phase 1. So if you like you imagine let's say a raid in like WoW or something, how far you can push on phase 1 is going to make your phase 2 easier, right? So if you've only done 20% damage on phase 1, phase 2 is going to be even more difficult to try to shave off that 80%. Why aren't the lilies in front now?
Well, I'm just like bopping around my characters right now, so no one worry about my position.
Yeah, and so when it comes on phase 2, basically he's going to transform into this big giant, I don't know, something, and we'll see. Basically he's going to knock back all the units on the board and stun them, and then start draining HP, I believe. We have that somewhere written down. Let me see.
Oh, why were the lilies in the second row? That's actually a very good question. I think it's better, especially when I go into like the later runs to kind of like potentially show off that kind of like tech. But this is actually something I want to say that 99% of the things that I know about this chapter I did not learn. I did not figure them out like myself. I had like ideas, but like all of this knowledge comes from Owen. He's the one who actually like is smart enough to actually figure out 99% of this stuff. So it'll be more evident when we go into like the harder challenge levels.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, overall, is everyone okay with what I have so far? I don't know if I'm okay with it. I don't know. But I'm good to start it if everyone's ready.
So now this is just one thing for me. I'm guessing you want as few units on the board as possible, so not as much mana gets drained.
I like that idea.
Because that's a thing I was finding with I run gang kind of style stuff a lot, and I was finding that she just kept transforming over and over quickly because there was a shit ton of units on my board where she could just be like, and I have now a feast.
Boss drain MP. But the thing is with Bard, so that's the thing. What's called with Bardry, like sure, like the enemy will get its attack off earlier, but at the same time, with Yeon specifically in mind, is it better for me to not cast my ability or to cast my?
It would be better, no?
Exactly right. You got to think about it a little. Okay. I'm gonna start this one. I'm not actually sure if I might insta kill it just because like yeah, I am definitely over. I'm a little over the top for this. Does anyone want to tell me why my Lunaire is positioned here and not in front?
Oh, that's
I mean, like I should instant cast. I should instant cast, right?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah.
Do you not want the instant cast because Lunaire gets an MP bar when she does cast?
Exactly. No, as Katie said, yeah, you can't. If I had extra MP, as I said before, you can instant cast, but in this case, like look at the boss ability, right? So, like I would only be at 50%, but I mean you can put her up one above, and then she'll still get at least 50. But it kind of depends on like you want to pick your poison. But let's just start up and see what happens here. As you can see, the log doing so much work for us. Log doing so much work. And here's the great part. Oh, look at that ability. Got the Yeon. Look at that. So yeah, definitely a tough chapter. Even with a seemingly overpowered build, still definitely a very tough chapter.
Yeah, as you can see,
the improvements other people.
Up to round 19, we were like soaring, and then boom. So boss is really something that we have to play against. And as you saw, the boss skill, like the auto attack, is also AoE. So that hurts even more, because when your units eventually will group up because of positioning and how they move around, they're just going to get AoE sliced by the boss on every time. Use the armor. Yeah, we just put it up. Yeah.
I'm just throwing on all this stuff now. As you can see, I've removed the lilies, and because like what were they really accomplishing? Like what were they really providing to the team?
True, exactly. So yeah, for boss, I don't think you need any tanks because it's I guess it's a race to how fast you can kill the boss. Because as we said, if you can finish maximum HP on phase 1, which is the easier phase, your phase 2 is going to last shorter and it's going to be easier to do it because the boss does some significant damage. As you can see already, we are on just chapter 10 0 difficulty, like basic, and it does some crazy damage.
I have like a level 13 Yeon and a level 14. But I am in no ways like super weak in this chapter. This is the second one. I'm gonna just try it with Lunaires. We'll see like how the Lunaire, how like having like a bunch of Lunaires stacked up might either impact it like well or not. Also remember the banner whenever you use a banner on a chapter, like everything gets significant lower health, lower thresholds in it.
Beautiful.
That one a lot easier. The Bardry survived, so I got the other caps off like a lot easier.
So over there, I think removing the lilies was a good move to get the mana off, or do you think it was just the Lunaires buffing the Yeon that boosts the damage so high?